This is not the way 44-year-olds should dress. I am literally out here in my pants. Not that it's that much of a problem, because there's no one around. I am down at one of my favourite places, just a little way away from our house, which is just up there somewhere. Is this river. Give you a quick tour. It's very riverly. So I come down here quite often to clear my head a little bit. I'm down here today because I wanted to do this vlog to talk about that with you. I think that I shall set this camera down, sit on a rock and get chatting. So what's this video about then? This video is me just basically saying, okay, what the hell do I do now? What do I mean by that? For about 20 years, I spent all of my time working toward one single goal. That goal being to be in a band that people knew, release music that people liked, and to play gigs that people went to. Me and Vicky, we achieved all of those things, and for a while it was absolutely fantastic. It was everything that I hoped that it might be. But then I stopped enjoying it. The thing about when you achieve a goal that you've been working for so long, actually admitting to yourself that you've stopped enjoying it is massive. It's massive. You don't just come to that conclusion one day and think, oh right, okay, I don't like this, I'll stop then. It took me a couple of years, I think, from the first dawning, that first little thought that popped into my head that said, you know what, I'm not sure that I enjoy this anymore, to actually voicing it out loud, to actually doing something about it, was a couple of years. Some of that decision making was taken out of my hands because we were kicked out of where we lived before. Not in a nasty way, we just, you know, the landlady wanted her house back, which ultimately ended up with us moving up here, which, you know, from underneath the Gatwick flight path to this is not such a bad move, folks. So I don't regret that in an instant, but it did all of a sudden put a couple of 100 miles between us and the rest of the band. At the time, I didn't know whether that would be the end of it or what. But I think it probably is. I'm not someone, I'm not a I am a never say never kind of person, so, you know, who knows what the future holds. But it has left me kind of bereft and thinking, what do I do? My whole identity has been tied up in that band and everything connected to that band for, well, you know, Spirit Like This went for over a decade. And before that, just being, you know, a general rock and roll guy. Life's very short, and it's a shame to tie yourself to one thing if you think that you might enjoy other things or have talent for other things. So, what have I done since then? Well, I've sat around and I've scratched my head an awful lot, and I'm still sitting around scratching my head an awful lot. Obviously, there's still stuff to do with the band that happens, so that's really great, keeping our toes in the water that way. There's the film stuff that we did. One of the films that we were in is about to be appearing in some festivals, which is absolutely fantastic. And there's still a film that we shot a couple of years ago that needs to be sorted out, edited, but you know, life gets in the way sometimes and things don't go smoothly like you hope they will. I've written a book which kind of explores what I'm talking to you about now, but in much greater depth. And I was hoping to get this out this year, but we'll wait and see. And I'm partway through another book, which is more of a fictional one. Actually, it's a book about a retired rock star who moves to the country and doesn't know what to do with his life. How did I come up with such a fascinating idea? I'm just sitting here looking at all these rocks and seeing all the geology, all these hundreds of millions of years worth of geology on all of these rocks, and it really makes you realise just how completely insignificant you are. Some of these rocks probably haven't moved in millions of years, and they might not move for another million years. Yet I will move on. By the time one of these rocks moves, I will be long gone, as will all of you. I have also been buying and selling antiques, collectibles. That's something that I've always had an interest in, and it's been good fun exploring that. And more recently, thanks to a small inheritance, I have been trading on the stock market of all things. The money that I got came from my granddad, well, my nan and granddad. And my granddad grew up in the slums of the East End of London, barely surviving having, what was it? Not typhoid. Tetanus? I don't know. Might have been typhoid. Something that left him partially deaf anyway. And from those extremely humble beginnings, built up a successful business. I've been trying to think of businesses to start, but to be honest with you, I can't really think of anything that excites me that much. And also, having started so many things like the band and the t-shirt business, having started these things from absolutely scratch, I would almost feel bad using a chunk of money to actually start a business. It would almost feel counterintuitive, because surely you are meant to just do this from the absolute ground up. But obviously that's not the case. Like I said, I've been doing some bits and pieces on the stock market, and I actually really enjoy that, which is really fucking strange. But there is a level of excitement and adrenaline to it, and I have made some mistakes, but I've also done all right. I'm up more than I'm down, let's put it that way. I am left goalless. The only ambition that I have, beyond the kind of, you know, want to be happy stuff, is that I want to live up a mountain in Italy. To do that, I'm going to need a little bit more money than what I have at the moment. So that's where the stock market stuff comes in, and the trading. Freedom is the thing that I want more than anything. That to me is the most precious commodity that any of us can have as a human being, and that's got even more precious to me as I've gotten older, and it's gotten even more precious to me moving to a place like this where there is so much more freedom than there is where I lived before. I lived in the southeast of England, which was completely crowded. You know, it didn't matter where you went on any day, at any time of day, there was just fucking people everywhere. And when you're not in the mood for people, that's not a good thing. Whereas here, how long have I been sitting here? I don't know, how long have I been sitting here talking to you lot about fucking life and bullshit? Quite a long time so far. No people. So this is a video about nothing really, because there's no conclusion to it, but then that's been the whole point. I have not come to any conclusion about anything. And I know that, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, because even though it scares me not having a direction, and it scares me not having the kind of goals that I've had in the past, I have nothing to complain about. So don't take this as me complaining. I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that could probably think of a million things that I could do, from leaping off a cliff to taking off all of my clothes. And what's quite funny is I've done videos in the past about time management and all of that sort of thing, and that's brilliant. Time management is brilliant, but unless you know what you're working towards, it's a bit fucking pointless. Oh. Anyway, I'm going to shut the fuck up now, because I'll just end up rambling. Have one last look at this beautiful scenery. And I will see you very soon. pee. And now to edit this shit. See on here with a video about fear of flying, or rather how I overcame my own fear of flying. Now there are some interesting statistics. One that I particularly like is that you could fly every single day for 50,000 years before you are guaranteed to be in some sort of air crash.